Alright, what up YouTube? This is your president, the presidential tourist, back with another video. I'm here at the Eagle Ridge Mall in Lake Wales, Florida at Kaiju Collectibles. I've been communicating back and forth with the owner of Kaiju Collectibles. He's agreed to give us a tour and a little brief interview. Now, I've actually already done it. I filmed a tour and interview. He didn't want to be on camera, but you do hear him, you just don't see him. But I show you around a little bit. A place like this, you really need to come and see for yourself. This will kind of give you only like a snapshot, a taste of what's for sale in that store. But there's a lot of cool things. So make sure you come down. I'll make sure I put at the bottom, like I already mentioned at the end of the video, their address, website, anything like that. So make sure you come here and check it out. But let's get on to the next part. You can actually see a lot of cool stuff in there. I think you would enjoy it. If you're interested in like Japanese anime, they have a lot of it in there. All right, you know what that means. Let's get to it and get in there. Yeah. Okay, could you just briefly introduce yourself?
My name is Logan Bazemore. I run Kaiju Collectibles, Comics, and Games in Lake Wales, Florida at the Eagle Ridge Mall.
Do you have like a Facebook page, website, if you want to look up your store?
A Facebook page. We also have Instagram, but we don't really use it. We're really bad at social media. So.
Okay, so how did you get into doing this type of work?
It's just stuff I always wanted to do. My dad used to take us to stores like this when I was young, and it's stuff I always enjoyed doing. So after doing other stuff for most of my life, I finally got in a position where I was able to try and open one, and it was a rough go, but we're doing all right, and we're doing pretty solid now. So trying to make it happen.
If someone wanted to like start a store like this, where do they even find all this stuff?
I just go through distributors. It took me a while to find several online. It was honestly a pain in the butt, but there's not a whole lot of information to go by. So I really can't give you a whole lot of information. Pretty much you just have to get on and just try looking up what you're interested in, because each one's different, be it Gundams or anime figures or cards. Each one's a different distributor, so you're going to have to kind of look up where they're at and try to figure out if you can get deals with them.
Now, you were telling me most of this is Japanese?
The vast majority of the stuff I have is Japanese, probably, yeah. I try to keep some English stuff, but the vast majority of it's probably anime related or Japanese video game related. Now, can you just tell some of the different, I don't know, groups or... Yeah, I mean, we carry a large selection of Gundam models. Right now I'm a little low because they've been selling pretty good, but I've got a bunch here, and then I've got a bunch.
And we can just walk around a little bit?
Yeah.
Now,
these are all just anime figures, although Goku keeps falling over. These are just anime figures, some from Evangelion, some from One Piece.
Now, when they buy these, are they put together already, or do they have to put them together?
The model kits you build yourself, but most of the figures come all in one piece.
Okay. Of course, about the only one I really recognize, that's Godzilla, right?
Yeah. My dad was a real big Godzilla fan, so I try to keep a good amount of Godzilla stuff in here. That's where the store was named.
Now, figures, I know you said you do some trading cards here you sell, and some trading card games you play here?
Yeah, we do tournaments, mainly Bandai games, but we pretty much try to play everything in here. We just have tournaments for Bandai games. So, One Piece, Gundam, Union Arena, all that kind of stuff.
Are these still pretty popular? I know these were popular for a while.
At least for me, no. There's probably still some stores that are doing really well with them, but for me, no, they have not been doing well. But I never really cared for them in the first place, so I leaned away from them for the most part.
Now, how long have you been in business?
I've been here 4 years. Almost 4 years.
And that's when you started?
Yes. Yeah, I worked at a steel warehouse over here.
Is there any, I guess, universe story that's like a favorite of yours?
Godzilla and Gundam are my two big favorite things. So that's definitely the majority of stuff I like. It's just a little bit harder to get the Godzilla stuff right now with the tariffs. I used to have a lot more stuff, and now I'm kind of slowing down on what I've got right now, so they're lightening up, so hopefully I'll be able to get a little bit more stuff back in.
What do you think of the recent Godzilla movies, or do you like the older ones better?
I like the old stuff, and the new Japanese Godzilla movie, the Godzilla -1, I liked a lot. The American ones are just kind of goofy. I'm not really a fan of them. But they're okay. The first one wasn't too bad. I hated King of the Monsters, and Godzilla Respawn just kind of seemed like the old school Goofy.
Now, some people want to come here and play a game. Do they have to reserve a table? How does that go?
No, we've got days where we play certain stuff, but as long as there's a table open, people can come down here and hang out. It's not a problem.
There's a lot of regulars?
Yeah, I probably got about 30 or 40 people that are regular down here on a weekly basis.
You ever have any celebrities coming here?
No. Lake Wales, Florida is not a very big sport.
Oh, that's true. What more? Anything else you really want people to know about this place? Seek you out? Anything?
Not really. That's pretty much it. Honestly, we're mainly anime collectibles, sci-fi collectibles, and cards. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, we hopefully have a little bit. If there's stuff you're looking for, I can try to order it, but it's just a little tough right now with, like I said, the tariff stuff going on. So it's a little bit harder to get hold of stuff, but hopefully we'll go back to normal soon.
I noticed you have an Iron Man there. Do you do much with superheroes?
I used to, but same situation. The distributors really just don't carry it anymore. Diamond Distribution is where you get a lot of your stuff like that, and then Hot Toys. And I had a Sideshow connection and was affiliated with them, but it's been so long since I ordered anything from them just because the stuff was really not moving in this area. The cheaper end stuff from Diamond was, but now the bankruptcy with Diamond did not help that. So I don't know who's actually producing figures from them now. It's just a little bit hard to get hold of the stuff.
So you said you've been doing this for 4 years, so that means you started kind of when COVID was going on?
It was right after COVID. When I moved into the mall, there was pretty much nothing in the mall except for GameStop and a few of the big hub stores that are like the big names. All the other stores are pretty much dead because at the time this is pretty much a dead mall, and it's coming back slowly but surely.
Yeah, coming back a little bit. Still a lot of empty space.
Yeah, definitely slowly but surely.
And I'm assuming is the mall pretty friendly towards you guys?
For the most part, we haven't had any problems.
Do you think it's an advantage being in a mall now in a standalone building?
Honestly, I'm not sure. At first, since the mall didn't have a lot of foot traffic, I thought it was kind of detrimental because, like I said, the mall was dead after COVID, but it seems to be picking up quite a bit to where there's a decent amount of foot traffic. And I think in some aspects it helps, in other aspects it doesn't. So I think there's a give and take to it.
How does Star Wars stuff do?
Not great.
I'm surprised to hear that. I think it would be more popular.
Back in the day it did. When I first opened up, the first year it was doing pretty solid, but shortly thereafter it kind of died off pretty quick. Now
what's this figure from? Because I see he's injured. Is it from a certain storyline?
No, it's just a Sideshow collectible statue. They just do random statues. Just their artists just kind of do whatever they want to do kind of thing.
What about horror related stuff like Resident Evil? Do you ever do anything like that?
Not really. There's not a lot of that stuff releasing, at least through my distributors. Most of the stuff is like direct through Square Enix and whatnot, and I have a hard time getting that. Every once in a while I get a little bit in. Like right now I think I have a Ichiban Show It figure, but that's the majority of like the kind of stuff I get. There's not a whole lot of other stuff I go after for the most part.
What about any other like sci-fi, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, anything like that?
From time to time we get Star Trek stuff, but there's not a whole lot again that we can pick up. They're not really releasing a whole lot of the older stuff, mainly the newer stuff, and again in this area at least, there's not a big pull for that.
You ever thought about doing any of those conventions, do a booth at that?
I don't think I'm really big enough for that yet. Hopefully eventually I'll get to that point, but when we started 3.5, almost 4 years ago now, my walls were pretty much empty. I barely had enough money to get it going and get the building going. So this is a little bit less than I had a few months back when it was actually stocked. But as a whole, it's still way more than I had the last few years. So when I get more than this, I'll think about it. But as of right now, this is probably just me staying here kind of situation.
You pretty happy you did this?
Yeah, it was definitely frustrating at first because I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and I'm definitely not a businessman, so it was kind of a pain in the butt to figure out everything I needed to do, but I think I've worked through it all right so far. We'll find out.
Now, I noticed you have some artwork. Is this from like a local artist?
Yeah,
or
it's a local artist named Ash. She does her stuff, and she's got her QR code there. You can like request stuff and whatnot, but I have a few local artists that sell stuff through here. I've got her, and then I've got Gingy's Gifts that does the knitted stuff over here.
Okay. These are pretty cool too. With the internet, has magazines are they kind of on their way out? Gaming catalogs, things like that?
I would assume that the vast majority of them are on their way out, but it's hard to tell. Those are Warhammer magazines, and for being a Warhammer retailer, I'm pretty much required to keep those on hand. But they really don't move. They just kind of sit here. So I pretty much just let the guys grab them at whatever they want kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember huge magazine stores when I was a kid. And when video games really came out, really got big in the 90s, there was like all these with regard to that. Now there's not really anything, this is all online. But this is a pretty cool store.
Well, thank you, sir. We're trying.
I don't know much about this stuff. It's more newer to me.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, you didn't really have this stuff. You had like baseball cards and things like that. And I grew up in a small town, so there was no way you're going to see anything like this there. But okay. Pretty cool. right, well, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
I think we got enough here. Well, that was interesting. That was the owner. He didn't really want to be on camera, so that's why you heard him and didn't see him. But I'm just going to show you a little bit more, go into some of these sections a bit more. Now, these are actually pretty cool, these artworks. Definitely interesting. And $10 for that. It's actually not too bad. 15 for those and 15 for those. And I think he was saying these model kits you have to put together. You know, when I was a kid, I always wanted to start buying some of these model kits, car kits. You see them at Walmart. Tons of them, or Kmart, or Woolworths, or Ames. I'm dating myself. I just never really got a chance to buy. I just never had a lot of money when I was younger. My family just, we never really got them. But these are definitely something I may eventually get into. I think they're really cool. But you gotta have a lot of good, how do we say, patience. You want to do it right. That's cool. Little Godzilla statue, like I pointed out earlier. These are probably like trading cards, I bet, or something. I never got into this stuff. I mainly got into like baseball cards and things like that. I don't know anything about this anime stuff. I've heard of it. I know there's. I remember seeing a little bit when I was younger, some anime cartoons, but I know nothing about the lore behind them. So I'd be the worst person to ask.
Yes.
And then let's go peek in this one. That's a cool picture. Look at that. That is $30.99. That's kind of cool. Oh, he's holding a jet. For a minute there, I thought he was holding it like a cell phone. That would have been crazy. Yeah, I don't know anything about this stuff, like I said. I don't want to make this video too awfully long, but I just want to show you a little bit more, kind of a close-up of some of this stuff. I'm sure every one of these characters has a name. Like I said, I don't know it. Look at that. Oh, that's that. But that's part of the box for that Darth Vader statue I showed you over there. That, even the box is pretty darn cool. I wonder how much is that, I wonder. That is, I think that's $999. Yeah, $999 for that. That's pretty cool. A little bit more expensive for me, but still awesome. I don't know too much, like I said, about these trading cards. I actually have some Magic the Gathering game cards at home that I got maybe back in the late 90s, but I know some could be worth a lot and others not so. That'd be the wrong one to try, like I said, to tell you about all this stuff. Oh, look, there's Mario. That's cool. I wonder how much this is. $24.99. My Little Pony. Nightmare on Christmas, which I've never seen that movie. A lot of people like it. How much is that? $14.99. I really need to see it because it seems to be pretty popular, especially when they have meet and greets and stuff like that at Disney. I know about it. Oh, look at that guy. He looks pretty scary. The closest thing I probably watched or knew about this stuff, is that Sauron? Maybe that's Sauron from, I think that's his name, from Lord of the Rings. That looks like his helmet, I think so. That's pretty darn cool. And there's the Darth Vader one again. Oh, but the closest thing I think I would have watched to all this from when I was a kid would have been Power Rangers. That would have been the closest to this. What do you call it? This well, this subject. I'm just gonna say the subject. But okay, I just wanted to film a little bit around. And yeah, all right. That means let's get on to the next video. Any contact for him for this store, I'll make sure I put it below. If you're in the Lake Wales area, stop here at the Eagle Ridge Mall. Check that store out if you're interested in stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff, and always great to help out a small business. All right, I'm gonna get going. That means time to get on the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye, everybody. Peace. Bye.